He was tall, dark, and handsome. He was 6'4", dark hair. He had the biggest hands of anybody I've ever known, and they were so gentle. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He was very emotional for a guy. He had such a good personality and a laugh. Oh, even my daughter right now, she's 17, and she talks about his laugh. He just had this loud, booming laugh whenever he saw anything that was funny. About 2 years before Don died, he had a seizure during the middle of the night. He was rushed to the hospital. He underwent a bunch of testing to see what was wrong, and we never were able to determine anything. Maybe a year and a half before he died, they said that he was suffering from psychosomatic seizures. Basically meaning that his body was creating them himself. Not that Don was doing anything to do this, but it was kind of his body fighting against him. And he got depressed and was put on some medication, and it just didn't really help. And the day that he died, he was really sad, and we had gotten into a disagreement, and I heard him. I heard the gun upstairs, and so we called 911 and left the house. They tried to resolve it peacefully by shooting tear gas into my house, and many hours later they sent a robot in and found his body in our bedroom. Not only did we lose Don, but we lost everything in our house. We were basically homeless for 2 months. We stayed with my sister-in-law, and I don't remember a lot. I don't remember, it's just kind of a void. Even now I ask my sister-in-law, I'll say something that I've never done that, or things that I knew for certain a week before, I didn't know anymore. Don's death was in the news. My neighbors all had to evacuate their homes the night that he died. So all of our neighbors knew. So many people knew, and it was, my greatest fear, I think, was the girls, because it was so public. That meant their friends knew, their friends' parents knew how he died. And I tell my kids there's no shame in his death, and I believe it. But a lot of people think there is, and that's hard to come to terms with when people try to put shame on it. So that's one of the hardest. Sometimes I'm now afraid of dying, not of physical, but I really fear leaving my children orphans now. I'm proud of Don. I'm not proud of what he did, but he'd hurt for a long time, and he fought really hard to overcome his demons, and he couldn't. And for a long time I thought that I had done something wrong, or I should have done something better to save him. And with suicide, what I've learned is that a lot of people want to blame somebody, and the closest person is usually the one to get blamed, and I was blamed by a few people, including a few people I thought were friends. Some of Don's friends, and just even strangers have asked me, well, what did you do? Didn't you see anything? And it's not right to blame victims or family or spouses. It doesn't matter if we had a fight that night. Don had a path in life, and even though I don't understand it, and I don't know why he couldn't be saved, but other people who are suicidal are, and that's something I'm still trying to work through. But I think what has helped me is that for everybody who was very judgmental, for people who blamed us, there were just as many people to hold my hand and say it wasn't. And so sometimes it is hard to talk about it, but I find healing in talking about it and trying to help other people and to try to educate. They all three handled it very differently. I tried to read a lot of textbooks. I looked online. I thought, that I had a good handle, and then each one of them have processed differently. My oldest is much more introverted. She's very analytical, and she left for college. She's the one that had surgery, and she left for college a few weeks after we were able to move back home. And then I found out that while she told her roommates how Don had died, she didn't tell them how. My second daughter is very outgoing, and I don't know that she's walked around saying how he died, but I think that she has shared it more. She's been able to voice it more. She's been able to voice it to me. I've held her while she's cried, where I haven't really seen my older daughter cry. I know she does, but I think she tries to hold it in for me. My son, he was 3. He doesn't really know. Because of the circumstances, he spent a lot of time with some friends and church family members, and he one day mentioned that how Don had died, and that wasn't something I would have ever kept from him, but at 3, he only needed to know so much. But once he said that he knew how Daddy had died, and he had made the gesture of a gun to his head, I couldn't say no, and I couldn't take it back. And so as much as I could in 3-year-old terms, we talked about it. I think that all of my friends have genuinely meant well. I think that I don't think that any of them has said anything or done anything to purposely hurt me. That being said, people don't know what to say when someone dies. People don't know what to say when someone commits suicide. They just don't know. And I probably wouldn't know if I was on the other end. I had a friend meaning very well say, well, the Debbie she knew wouldn't be acting like this. And the Debbie she knew is no more and will never be again. But for a while, it seemed like some people thought maybe I was contagious. Like, maybe they could catch it. Maybe, I don't know. It just seemed like sometimes people just thought that maybe I was hexed, or, that I caused bad luck, or I don't know. For a while, some people kind of stayed away. Coming to the Grief Project, that first Saturday, I sat out in my car for 15 minutes, afraid to walk in the door, terrified. Nobody was going to understand. I didn't know these people, and I did it. I opened the door and walked in. And it's been life-saving. It really has. That I don't necessarily know myself as well as I thought I did. I thought I could have told you 3 years ago how I would react if I ever lost the love of my life. And I didn't react any way, shape, or form the way I would have thought. I learned that I'm stronger. And I learned that there are a lot of people who care about me and my family. I learned that I'm okay, and that what I do is okay. If I'm happy today and laughing, that's okay. And if I'm crying today, that's okay. I learned that I can miss Don, and that's okay. And I learned that I can go some time without thinking about him, and that's okay. I'm just learning that I'm okay, and that how I feel is okay, because it's easy for me to judge how I'm feeling and thinking I'm doing it wrong. But I'm not. I'm doing it the way that I'm supposed to be doing it. And I'm healing the way that I'm supposed to be. But I am healing. You might cry a lot. You might not cry at all. It doesn't reflect the love you had for your loved one. I get angry, but it doesn't mean that I don't love Don or don't miss him just as much. But I'm pissed off sometimes at the way he died. And then some days I think of him and I just smile and I just laugh. And there are people who might say, how can you be laughing? It's like, at some point you have to kind of live in a bubble and not listen, because if you listen to everybody, you'll just go crazy. Because this person thinks you shouldn't laugh, and this person thinks you shouldn't cry, and There's no right way or wrong way. It's wherever you are in the moment. And it's hard to remember that sometimes. I can say it right now, but at 2 o'clock in the morning, when I wake up sick and I just want Don there to make me some Theraflu and hold my hand, sometimes it's hard to remember, but it's in there. The way Don died, I don't miss him any more than any other person who has lost a loved one. The circumstances are different, but so is everybody's. And sometimes I can get kind of wrapped up and feel sorry for myself. And that's okay to a point. I think it's okay to an extent to feel sorry. But just that you're not alone. Even on those nights when you just feel like nobody cares or nobody understands, there's always somebody. There's always somebody.